We're back with another baseball segment here on the Kenikka Sports Show, and today we're talking about, yep, that's right, you guessed it, the big dumper. I got my Mariners Henley on over here. It does say Griffey Jr. on the back, but it might have to be replaced by a number 29 instead of a 24 because Cal Raleigh is now the new Seattle Mariners home run king.
Oh, nice.
Yes, but Nika, is he the American League MVP? Well, the great debate is going on in all of Major League Baseball, and we're talking about it right here today on the Kenikka Sports Show, everybody. But first, if this is your first time here, please do us a solid and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and yes, ring that alarm bell for our mascot, Frexy. She is such an attention seeker, and she just loves it when you show her attention through that alarm bell. So ring a ding ding for Frexy.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. All right, Nika. Well, we mentioned it already. The king, like with Poseidon's trident, no less. The king. We have a new king. It is Cal Raleigh in Seattle, the Mariners' new home run king. And he's not just doing it by one. He's now done it by two, folks. Numbers 57 and 58. They leave the Houston Astros ballpark this weekend. Wow. And the Mariners sweep the Astros at their place.
I know.
They move ahead 3 games in the American League West with just 6 games. 6. That's my Joker impression from The Dark Knight, if you didn't know. 6. Yes, 6 games remaining. It's weird to say. Last night, by the way, we got our first glimpse of what our future is going to be like when we had just 3 baseball games on. There was like 2 games on the beginning all night. It was weird.
It was.
But fun, like fun to zero in, especially because the Padres were playing, who they clinch their spot to the postseason in the National League. Here in the American League, things are a little bit murkier, though we do know most of the teams that are going to be participating. We just don't know which 5 of the 6 remaining alive are going to make it. And one of those teams is the Mariners, though I've already put my betting odds on the Mariners winning the American League West after this sweep because they do hold the tiebreaker over the Astros. Mm-hmm. They are 3 games ahead now. So that's technically 4 games ahead with just 6 games remaining. My bad.
So the Astros would have to win 5 games in order to take over
the
Mariners.
The Astros would have to basically go 5-1 while the Mariners go 0-6. If that's
not going to
happen. The Astros would have to go 6-0. The Mariners are not going to probably lose out. They're playing Colorado at home tonight, and then they finish the season against the LA Dodgers, while the Astros have to play at the Athletics and at the Angels. Thank you. I remembered all this from our previous segment. We covered the whole state of all the races going on, so make sure you click on that post. But in the meantime, this is about Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge, because Cal Raleigh, despite the fact that he's got these 58 home runs right now and 121 runs batted in, the pundits on TV and on the interwebs are still, I think, putting their money on Aaron Judge to win the American League MVP.
And who votes for the MVP? The writers?
The Baseball Writers of America do.
Is that
the Baseball Writers Association of America? That's the BBWAA.
Are we talking about beat writers or national writers?
Yeah, so each city gets 2 writers that are a part of this Baseball Writers Association. And so that turns into 60 total voters.
Okay.
There's a whole method to this madness. We're going to actually get into a little bit of an article. But right now, the betting odds actually have entered into a dead heat for the first time. Aaron Judge has been leading the betting markets since I can remember. Now, for the first time, it is tied. It is in a dead heat as of this morning. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Aaron Judge, even though my vote personally would be for Cal Raleigh, and I'll talk about that more at the end of this article. But I don't want to take anything away from Aaron Judge. He's doing something historic that's only been done 2 other times in Major League history, which is he would hit 50 home runs in a season and lead the league in batting average. Aaron Judge turned into Luis Ariz this year, and he didn't necessarily lose his power to do it, which is, I've always made the argument that you don't have to sacrifice power for average.
No, he just proves that.
He does. And I love that about him. And that's why I feel like a little bit guilty in defending Cal Raleigh so much. But Aaron Judge is not a great defender. He has like a negative defensive rating, in fact, this year. Cal Raleigh, on the other hand, he's not the best at his position this year, but he has been in the past. He's won a platinum gold glove, which is like the best defender in all positions of a year.
True, but that doesn't count for this year.
It does not, but he's still very high this year.
Sure.
I don't want to take that away from him, and it plays into his MVP stature here. And his team, Aaron Judge, is not in first place right now. They could be by the season's end. They can mathematically catch the Blue Jays, but it's going to be really tough.
But how can you be an MVP if your team doesn't win?
Well, the Yankees have a better record today than the Seattle Mariners do by one game.
But that's today.
That's today. There's 6 games left. There's a week left. There is a week of time to convince the voters.
Okay.
Having said that, I want to get into where things stand because this article was published this morning on MLB.com, Nika. And this says that the final MVP poll, AL race, incredibly tight heading into final week. Well, no shit, Sherlock, based on what I just told you, right? We have both of these guys having huge historic seasons. This is written by Brian Murphy at spokes_Murphy on x.com. This was published at 8:30 a.m. our time on the Pacific Coast this morning. And it says, there is so much to be decided in the final week of the regular season. One of the biggest must-watch items on the docket, what will Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh do in their closing arguments for American League Most Valuable Player? While MLB.com's latest MVP poll shows Shohei Ohtani continuing to hold a comfortable advantage in the National League, the race in the AL almost literally can't get any closer. After 40 of our experts cast their votes, the Yankees' captain and the Mariners' slugging catcher were separated by only 2 points. Voters ranked their top 5 picks in each league on a 5-4-3-2-1 scale. 5 points for a first place vote, 4 points for a second place, and so on. Votes were based not just on performance to date, but also how things are expected to go over the final few games. Oh, they took into account some unforeseen things. They all became prognosticators, Nika.
Yeah, sure.
Here are the poll results. Are you ready?
Yeah, go
all
for
right.
it.
Well, that's all I grabbed from this, by the way. We're not going to get into a big, long thing. Aaron Judge, he got 21 first place votes. So that means out of the 40, Cal Raleigh is the one who got shafted here. The choice between Judge and Raleigh is a real toss-up, even among league executives. So I guess that's who voted on this. So that's not the baseball writers, just to be clear.
That's just
so
executives.
This means nothing. I just wanted to get to this point to just show this, but this is funny, right? This poll means nothing. These are not the people voting.
So why? Okay.
This is worse than political straw polls and crap like that. The manipulation behind it.
Yeah.
Judge moves back into the number 1 spot by a very narrow margin after falling to number 2 in August, Nika.
This is just to clickbait the article.
Oh, gosh, yes. He has 6 homers in his past 14 games and needs just one more long ball for his 4th 50 home run season. And we just talked to you about the implications of that. Judge is also in line to lead the majors in on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and Fangraphs WAR for the 3rd time in 4 years. Congratulations. So wait, he won 2 MVPs, and you're saying he had the highest WAR in 3 of those years. So he didn't win MVP one of the years he had the highest WAR. Interesting.
So why are we bringing that up?
His 326 average is the best in the bigs, meaning the 6'7" Judge could become the tallest batting champion in MLB history. Well, that's cool and all, but
what's that got to do with home
meanwhile,
runs?
Cal Raleigh made an impact in the Mariners' biggest series of the year this past weekend. He homered twice during Seattle's road sweep against the Astros, putting the Mariners in a commanding spot to earn their first division title since 2001. Raleigh, with 5 dingers in his previous 7 games, is up to a franchise record 58 home runs this year. He could become the 7th player and first catcher to reach the 60 home run plateau, and he would achieve it while playing for a likely division winner. It's an easy case to make for MVP. Yeah, apparently not easy enough considering he's trailing in the executives poll. And I don't know how to take the executives poll, and I don't know which executives it was. Obviously, there's no faces to these teams.
Could it be from the Yankees organization, East
Well,
Coast?
it could be. It
Any
could
team?
be. Absolutely.
I mean, could it be an executive from Gatorade, or this is baseball?
I also find it ironic that like we're not supposed to value batting average anymore if you're a Luis Ariz fan, but if you're a fan of Aaron Judge winning the MVP, all of a sudden batting average is once again important. It's the same people. It is. It's definitely hypocrisy. And, it's hard when both guys are having huge seasons like this, in different ways. But I feel like you never know if Cal Raleigh is going to do this again.
Well, he's a catcher, so it takes a little bit longer.
And he's a catcher, and he's having a special season. To me, that means something. For me today, Cal Raleigh is the MVP, but let's go to the Seattle Times, Nika, and see what the actual case by Adam Jude, the Seattle Times staff reporter, and I have no idea if he's one of these 60 BBWAAs
the writers
that gets to vote, but it's possible. It's possible. But he's making the case for catcher Cal Raleigh to win the MVP. This was September 22nd, yesterday morning. So the Yankees and Mariners both did not play yesterday. They had the day off preparing for these final 6 games. So let's get into this article a little bit. Some interesting stuff in here. The physical toll of playing catcher can be obvious, as the red welt on Cal Raleigh's neck showed last Tuesday night. The mental toll, that's less so. And that's one of the intangibles voters from the Baseball Writers Association of America will have to consider when asked to select an American League MVP this week. Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge, there's no wrong answer. And that's what makes the AL MVP voting so fascinating and so unpredictable entering the final week of the regular season. I think he made a mistake here. It could wind up being one of the closest votes in baseball history. The case for Cal Raleigh leans on his value to the Mariners as one of the sport's elite defensive catchers. Raleigh is having one of the greatest offensive seasons by a catcher in MLB history, perhaps the single greatest season by a catcher in history, all while playing half his games in the most challenging hitter's park in MLB. This gets overlooked. The Mariners have, by statistics, the hardest park to hit home runs in.
No, okay.
Aaron Judge does not, by the way.
It's New York. Yeah,
I know the left field porch isn't quite exactly what the right field porch is, but don't think that Judge doesn't hit opposite field home runs either. All right. Well, and yet his greatest value might be his work with the Mariners pitching staff. And there is no metric to measure what it means and what it takes to call 150 pitches in a game while playing more innings behind the plate than any catcher in the league, while slugging more home runs than any catcher ever has. And doing so from both sides of the plate, by the way. He's a switch hitter.
Yeah.
Raleigh means as much to his team as does as much for his team as any player in the game. What more could he do? Raleigh caught every inning of all 3 games over the weekend in Houston as the Mariners completed one of the most important series sweep in franchise history, closing in on their first AL West title in 24 years. That's right, folks. It has been a long time, since 2006, if you're doing the math, since the Mariners have won the West. And oh, by the way, he also hit 2 homers to extend his major league lead to 58 and put the AL record of 62 within reach. Now he's going to have to go way above and beyond his pace if he's going to have to hit 5 more home runs, but I wouldn't put it past him. Last week in Kansas City, Raleigh blocked a pitch in the dirt that bounced and hit him squarely in the neck. He needed a minute to collect himself, but remained in the game. Just a few minutes later, swinging left-handed, he broke Mickey Mantle's single-season record for homers by a switch hitter. And yeah, he's just trying to paint a picture of how physically demanding the position is compared to what Aaron Judge has to do on a nightly basis. He's not taking balls off of his body, let alone his face or neck area.
He's not wearing a heavy gear that he has to take out every time.
Squatting. Could you squat for all that time on your knees? In the next inning, on his very next swing, he hit another home run from the right side. Judge, the Yankees slugger, is a 2-time MVP winner and unquestionably the most menacing hitter in baseball today. He has 49 home runs and a 209 OPS plus, meaning he's more than twice as valuable as the average Major League Baseball hitter. If voters weigh only offensive production, Judge would win running away. Through the weekend, Judge and Raleigh rank as the top 2 most valuable players in all of Major League Baseball via Fangraphs wins above replacement F-WAR metric. Judge, as you can see here, has a 9.2 F-WAR, and Cal Raleigh has an 8.8 F-WAR. That is super close this late into the season. Here's where Cal Raleigh stands among catchers all time, Nika. Buster Posey had a 9.8 F-WAR to finish the 2012 season. He won the MVP. Johnny Bench in 1972 had a 9.2 F-WAR. He won MVP. Mike Piazza had a 9.1 F-WAR in 1997 as a catcher. He did not win MVP. Cal Raleigh has an 8.8 F-WAR in 2025, and we will wait and see if that is enough to get it done this year. But obviously, he ranks up there in some of the greatest catching seasons of all time.
That's true, but MVP stands for valuable player for your team, not for the whole league.
And it stands for most valuable player, not for most offensive player or most offensive production.
It's an overall.
It's an overall thing, and I think it should be valued from team to team a little bit differently. I mean,
well, it's for your team.
What if you hit like
if you are the most
30
valuable
walk-off hits for your team in a season? Doesn't that make you pretty valuable?
But if you're a valuable player, as Aaron Judge is to the Yankees, would Yankees be number one? Or the team, potentially, they still have a week to play. But if they are not, then that means you are not the most valuable player for your team because your team lost.
And he's also missed some time. He's not been playing in the field as much, period. He's been DHing some of the time. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, Cal Raleigh's just been trucking away behind the plate, you know? And
so if the Mariners hold on to the division, that makes him the most valuable player for that team. Because not just the team that wins, because he contributed to the team wins.
Well, we got a little bit to get through here. Raleigh, coming off a Gold Glove and Platinum Glove season in 2024, has caught 1,046 innings this season, more than anyone in the American League, Nika.
Wow.
His overall defensive metrics are not as strong this season as they were last season, but he remains one of the premier defenders behind the plate, and he does rank as the American League's highest grade pitch framer. This is stuff that they keep track of nowadays, you know? So when it comes to framing pitches, Cal Raleigh's still number one in baseball this year. Judge has been limited by an elbow injury in the season's second half. We just talked about that. He has a negative value as a right fielder this season. We mentioned that earlier. And if Raleigh gets to 60 homers, everyone loves nice round numbers in baseball, right? It could solidify his case.
So he just needs one more or two more?
He does need two more.
Okay.
Another tipping point that could work in his favor, an AL West title for the Mariners, should they clinch it this week. I agree with both of these points that he's putting up here. Like, this could become a romantic type of story, you know? Like, does he get the 60 homers? It's such a nice number. It's such an amazing story. Third or fourth, whatever, player to do it, at least in the American League. Mm-hmm. It's Babe Ruth. It's Aaron Judge. It's Roger Maris. It would be Cal Raleigh. Crazy. Crazy to have those four names together. Another, and then the division title, like you brought up, you know, if the Mariners do win the division and get that bye versus the Yankees, who have to then play in the wild card, and who knows, maybe they get beaten.
Who knows?
It just makes you wonder. Mm-hmm. That would be a meaningful achievement for a franchise that hasn't done that in a quarter century. On top of the historic achievements for Raleigh personally, it does seem to be going hand in hand a little bit here. Teammates have been lobbying on Raleigh's behalf. Quote, I don't see other guys catching like he does and hitting home runs like he does, M starter George Kirby said. Now, this gets to be a little fan servicey here at the end. What are they going to say? I mean,
of course.
We have the standings here a little bit. It's the whole picture, Logan Gilbert added. It's what he does blocking, saving runs, throwing guys out, getting banged up. It's him doing everything. So if it's truly most valuable player, then it has to be the guy that brings everything to the table, and I think that's him. It's a fair argument. Two Baseball Writers Association of America members from each MLB city vote for the AL and NL MVP awards. A total of 30 voters from each league. So that's 60 if you're doing the math. Instructions for selecting the award are open-ended. A player's value is left up to each voter to determine. Voters are asked to list 10 players on an MVP ballot ranked 1 through 10 with a weight point system used to select the winner. A first place vote is worth 14 points and a second place vote is worth 9 points, and so on. Award ballots were sent to the Baseball Writers Association of America on Sunday. That's just 2 days ago. And votes must be submitted before the start of the MLB playoffs on September 30th. That's a week from today. The date for when the award is announced has not been set. It will happen after the World Series.
Jesus, this is like a conclave.
Let's see. If we get white smoke, does that mean we get Cal Raleigh?
Maybe.
All right. Well, that is Adam Jude again from the Seattle Times. Adam Jude is a Seattle Mariners beat writer. He previously covered the University of Washington Huskies football and the Seattle Seahawks for the Seattle Times.
Wait, I thought Huskies was in Illinois.
Well, there's more than one Huskies, my dear.
Okay.
It's hey, there's a lot of colleges out there, okay? And there's only so many mascots. They all, none of them have Frexy though. She's available.
No.
Contact us for licensing.
Oh, licensing.
Licensing fees will apply. You're like, no, wait. Oh, money? Okay. All right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, let's put a bow on this conversation here. We took in a lot of information. We talked about a lot of numbers and stats and, unprecedented territory for really both of these players. Aaron Judge with the 50 home runs and leading the league in hitting. And then, of course, Cal Raleigh being a catcher and doing all he's doing, possibly the greatest offensive season of all time by a catcher. The batting average is bothering some people. It's 247. I understand it, but at the same time, those home runs are impactful on a game, and you just can't take them away. And he's doing it this year. I guess my closing argument would just be that Aaron Judge has 2 MVP awards, and we don't know if Cal Raleigh is ever going to do this again. And if this is like an Academy Award, Oscar type thing, I feel like you got to give it to the person that might never do it again, right? And I feel we don't have any guarantees of health.
I know, but you can make the same argument for Judge. Even he might never be there.
But he's got 2.
I know.
He's got his trophies. And
he's got his trophies. Absolutely.
I just don't see Aaron Judge not hitting 50 home runs again another season. I don't know if Cal Raleigh ever will again. This might be a lightning in a magic bottle season for him. And I would hate to see that go unrecognized in the annals of history because it's such especially if he does hit 60. So I guess I would say, like, if he hits 60, they got to give it to him.
Oh,
they got to give it to him.
He will hit 60 because he will hit some homers against the Dodgers. Watch my prediction.
He's currently on pace for 60 to 61. And yes, I don't think he's going to sit. He might not catch every game this weekend, but I don't think he's going to sit if he doesn't have 60. I mean, it's history on the line, and they know it. He wants to get it, probably. I don't think he should
let him do it.
Go balls to the wall for it or anything. But I think if he maintains his pace, he will hit 60 to 61, which would put him in a historic category.
And why would Seattle, the team, not let him do it?
They would. Absolutely. So I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited to watch and see if Cal Raleigh can, achieve history, and in doing so, maybe lock up the MVP award in the hearts and minds of the Baseball Writers Association of America.
I think
because that's who he needs to convince at the end. It's not the American League executives that voted for Judge.
He has to convince the writers on the East Coast that don't watch games in the West Coast.
Yeah.
Because it's late or whatever the reasoning they have.
And I'm not taking anything away from Judge in his offensive season.
Has nothing to do with that.
He doesn't wear that equipment night in and night out, and I think that matters. All right, everybody. Well, let us know who you're voting for in this whole MVP race, because I'm sure that there's a lot of valid opinions for each player out there, and we're ready for it. We can take it. Let us have it.
Is there any other player that can come in and sweep?
Yes.
Who is the third?
Jose Ramirez can be a dark horse candidate. If Cleveland somehow locks it up. I mean, he's 30-30 again this year. He's kind of carried the team in the second half. When we're talking about most valuable player.